I've been trading options for years, and these are the three mistakes that I used to make repeatedly, not once, but multiple times. And until I fixed them, I did not find consistency in trading. So if you're an options trader, I'm pretty sure that you are making at least one of these three mistakes in your trading. So let's get into it. So this is going to be a bonus. This is not part of the three mistakes, but one thing that I feel like a lot of traders misunderstand is how options actually move. They don't really look deeply into the Greeks, the implied volatility, or how options respond to the movement of stocks. I think for anything that you guys are trading, be it futures, crypto, shares, options, make sure you fully understand the basics of that type of trading so you have an idea of how the results are going to be if you make a certain mistake or if it works out in your favor. So the first mistake was buying cheaper options or buying options that were very far out. Like if at the money contracts were $1 or $1.50, those far out of the money contracts were 20 cents. And that would make me think that, hey, I can afford more. For $1, I'm only buying one versus when I'm buying the 20-cent ones, I can own multiple 5 to 6 different contracts. Second mistake was not accounting for the theta decay, be it 0 DTE, be it a swing trade or a day trade, right? Theta impacts your option premiums very differently depending on your expiration. Third mistake was position sizing based on the option contract value, not the actual account risk. For example, like I mentioned earlier, it's 20 cents, buying something far out of the money is cheaper. I can buy more, it'll generate higher returns, and that's not always the case. So let's go over those mistakes and how you can actually fix them. The first one, buying options that are too cheap. That's a big no. Unless if you're swing trading and you're taking the market maker move into account, for day trading, you should always be focused on trying to buy at the money contracts. As you gain more experience and you understand what out of the money contracts are going to bring to you or how much theta decay they're going to have, then you can try to switch around and start trading those. But if you're just starting out, focus on buying at the money contracts. They might be a little bit expensive, but they are going to hold much better value once that strike goes into the money. So if you guys watch any of my previous trade recaps, you will see the moment the strike becomes in the money, meaning the stock price is above for calls or below for puts, depending on the trade, it's easier for me to hold those trades because at this point, the premiums are not losing as much value. Now, if I'm trading something that's very far out of the money, yes, they will still move, but every time the stock price slows down or starts moving sideways, they're going to start losing value. And as a new trader, when you start seeing those premiums fluctuate as quickly as they do, you're going to most probably close the trade. You're not going to focus on the chart. You're going to focus more on the P&L or the fluctuations of your premiums, which will happen with those out of the money contracts. And when people start using these out of the money contracts too often, and I made that mistake in the past, you get used to holding those contracts for a very long time, and theta affects those contracts way more aggressively than it would on at the money, right? Because you have to think of it in a way where, all right, the price has a target, which is your strike price. So if the stock price is trading at $100 and your target price is $150, or those contracts are expiring the next day, those premiums are going to take a very big hit on every pullback because you have less time for the stock to make a 50% move in that direction. And even if that's a winning trade eventually, you most probably won't be holding it. And this has cost me so many of my accounts that have blown simply because I didn't take into account that how far those strikes are, just focusing on that cheap factor and holding those premiums for a long period of time, which brings me to the next mistake, which was theta. Theta starts to impact those premiums in such an aggressive way because as time is running against you as an options buyer, those premiums are constantly losing value, unless of course the stock price is consistently going in that direction. Now ask yourself, how many times have you gotten into a trade where the stock price just keeps going in that direction that you're in, be it calls or puts? If you're in calls, how many times have you seen the stock price just skyrocket, right? Maybe once a month or twice a month at most. If that's not happening, every single trade you're taking, those far out of the money contracts are going to get impacted by that theta factor very aggressively. So when you're picking your direction, don't keep the time factor out of that trade. If you think that it's going to take 1 hour to get there, or if you're taking a swing trade and you think it's going to take a week for the stock price to hit your target, give yourself an extra day for the day trade or an extra week for that swing trade. Now, yes, you will be paying slightly more for those contracts, but you'll also be minimizing your risk, because what I was doing was every time the stock price would just kind of stay stagnant, those far out of the money contracts and that theta would be affecting those premiums. Guess what I did? And I'm pretty sure you guys have done that as well. I started averaging in. My entry was at 30 cents, they're at 25 cents or 20 cents. I would say, you know what, let me just buy more. My 30-cent average would come down to 25 cents or 22 cents. The moment it goes up a little bit, I'll break even or I'll be green. But guess what? The longer the price action stayed sideways, those premiums just went from 25 cents to 20 cents, 15 cents, 10 cents, 5 cents. And after that, you know the story. Those premiums are long gone. And if you averaged in 50% or almost your full account, that account is gone as well. Which brings me to the third mistake, which was position sizing, right? Averaging in, position sizing. This is going to be the core of your trade management. If you position size yourself too aggressively, you're going to be focused too much on trying to make sure you don't lose money versus focusing on the chart and making decisions based on how the chart is moving. So one rule that I have for position sizing is whenever I see uncertainty in the market, like this week, we have the FOMC week. By the time you guys see the video, the FOMC is going to be pretty much done. What I usually do is sizing down on the first hour of the day or 30 minutes of the day. If I see there's a lot of inconsistency in the market, I don't take too many trades. I take as less trades as possible. But with position sizing already sized down, for example, if my position size is 10,000, I size down to $5,000 to $7,000 position, where I'm usually losing 20% on that 10,000. When you translate that 20% on a $5,000 position, your loss is much less. Now, when you see that the trade isn't working out, right? Your strategy is there, all the confirmations are there, but because market is choppy, because there's so much uncertainty in the market, you take a smaller loss. And that smaller loss will be much easier for you to dig yourself out of rather than a $10,000 position size with 20% loss where you'll be losing twice as much. And if you go through that emotional roller coaster where you start taking more and more trades, or also known as a tilt, what's going to happen is you're going to lose way more than you would have lost in a smaller position size. So managing your position size is going to be core of every single trade that you take. If you think market is uncertain, or if you think you're not 100% on that trade, you don't have your focus right, size down. When you have consistency, when you have cushion, you can go back to your normal position size. But that is going to be the core thing that's going to help you manage your position size much better. Now, all three of these mistakes are directly connected with one another because most people don't understand how theta works, how time affects the premiums, or why they should not be buying out of the money contracts, because only thing they understand is when they buy shares, price goes up, they make money. Price goes down, they're shorting the shares, they make money. In options, it's not as simple, but it's also not as complicated as a lot of people make it because they don't give it the right time to actually watch or understand how these Greeks and time affect the option premiums. Now, I've made two videos that pretty much directly correlate with these topics. The 0DT checklist video and the position sizing video. If you guys are not sure on how to properly position size yourself or what things to look for when you're jumping into trades, go check those videos out because those will help you understand when you're trading 0DT or SPX and SPY, what you should be looking for and how to properly manage your position size. If your position size is not managed properly, your trade management is not going to be done properly. And if trade management is not done properly, either you'll be on a red trade or you'll be leaving a whole lot of profits on the table. So before you take any options trade, ask yourself these questions. Are you about to make one of these three mistakes? If the answer is yes, re-go over your trade plan and come up with a trade plan that will make sure you avoid any one of these three mistakes. I'll see you guys in the next video.